Applewhite speaking. Do not attempt to adjust your device. There is nothing wrong with it. I am here to deliver a message. Join Psycho Bunny Death Cult and our anti-censorship campaign. Free your mind. Free your head.
Hey! We're live!
We're live! What's up? Hi, Raven!
What's going on, everybody?
Excuse me, I'm burping.
So tonight,
What
I hope that you brought the picture up, actually.
Which one?
The aliens one that I just did.
Oh, shit.
Okay, well, tonight
Oh,
we are talking about aliens. And I am going to turn off...
Oh, yeah. What is that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's my page. I was like, what the hell?
Yes. Okay. Go ahead, guys. Start talking.
Oh, yeah.
You stop getting distracted.
Well, I made Mikey the baby metal.
So
that was something.
Yeah, what exactly did I walk into exactly? Because I came in and I was expecting to be like in backstage, and I'm backstage, right? But I'm being tortured by this baby metal group that Frank and Mr. Doomsday over here are bobbing their heads to, getting down to. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? I'm sitting here doing
I
this the
wasn't
whole
bobbing
time.
my head.
I freaking,
I wish I was on another planet.
I was all, because I got right home and I was like, I was freaking late, you know, I had to go by my sister's house to get some stuff. And I got home and I was like, hey, Mike, I sent all the things out. I saw Mike pop in. I was like, I'm going to just play some music because I had to download a lot of stuff and I had to do a lot of stuff real fast. So here you go. And we just started playing like Pantera.
Here's baby man. Let me fucking torture you while I fucking do some things.
I can't take them serious.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Mikey. We don't need. We're going to make you watch baby metal.
Davey says hi, Sid.
Hey, what's going on, Davey? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Calvin.
What up, Calvin?
Angie. And Raven says hello again.
Look at all these people.
Yeah,
How is everybody doing?
Sure.
I'm with him. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
That's what I asked myself. What did I walk into?
Mathematically, it's impossible, extremely improbable for us to be the only planet with life on it. And that is what we are talking about tonight, for sure. So, hey, Ray, what's up? I learned the other day that Damon Barrett's name is Ray. And I rhymed.
Hey.
Tonight,
Hey, Ray.
we're talking about aliens.
Aliens.
And what is really going on with this guy's hair?
Yep.
It's a lot of hairspray.
I think he's being slowly abducted.
Yeah, that or he just woke up.
Yeah.
True.
Woke up in a crop circle.
He woke up in a crop circle. Wait.
Like, what the fuck's going on here, man? Aliens.
Our internet
Aliens.
What the fuck?
He's living a nightmare of the reoccurring Mel Gibson role.
Yeah, one more picture to show. We'll start everything.
Wait, I got one for you guys. This is my favorite one. What if the alien guy, isn't crazy and he's just being abducted really slowly?
The fucking hair, man.
It started
What
off
are they
so
doing
normal.
What are they fucking doing with him? Is that what you call like alien bedhead?
Yes.
Is that what your
Probably
hair
so.
looks like after you get probed by aliens?
I was gonna say that's what happens with one too many anal probes.
He's
What's
pulling
in
hair.
that?
He's
His
pulling
face
out
is
that
beyond,
hair.
and his face is beyond happy. It's so happy of a face too. If you look at it, it's like abduct me some more.
It's like gradual. The more you look at it, it starts off with him being serious, like, yes, aliens.
Yeah,
And
your
then
eyes are jiggling up here, and I'm like, what the
It
fuck
only
is
hurt
that?
the first time.
and then it goes like, he's talking about aliens more, and he's like this. And then it's the
Except it's the stages of abduction.
alien.
It's a different stage of abduction. It's
And then his hair's all over, and
it's
he's like,
finally acceptance.
Gonna start to do the Italian alien.
That's an alien. Oh, hey, you don't like the pizza pie? You don't like the moon? You go see the moon, huh? He said, okay. Hello. I find
Well,
crop
hello,
circles.
everybody.
We are going to get to crop circles. So
who wants to go first?
Mikey, do you want to go first? Because you brought up crop circles and a couple different things earlier.
And that gives me the chance to pull up what I was trying to pull up earlier.
Oh, we got pictures to
Oh,
show. Or
no, what?
Or Mother de la Mort.
Whoever, Mike, if you want to go first, Doomsday, go right ahead.
No, what I was going to say about crop circles is that I mean, according to research, to like stories and everything like that, crop circles have they've appeared in like certain places of Europe, like over there, like where the what do you call that? The Stonehenge.
Yeah.
They've appeared like close to like where Stonehenge is, like these different farms, and basically they've had like different like signals and everything like that. Like it's just like symbolisms that people have been trying to decipher, and they're just weird. They're weird. They're weird images.
That
That makes it-
This looks like a. This is the handicap.
That's a handicap alien, man.
This was handicap.
This is the handicap.
Mikey, I'm so sorry.
Hey, nah, man, that's cool, man. I thought that was funny though. No, and actually, when I was looking at that, I was like, that kind of looks familiar. And it popped in my head. I was like, oh fuck, it's the fucking handicap signal.
And
No.
yes, we mentioned it earlier.
Oh, that's right.
I actually really liked the movie. I think
Yeah.
it was one of two of M. Night Shyamalan's movies that actually ended well.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah,
Lama, lama, lama.
What was
Llama.
the one? Red water or something? Or red water.
The girl in
The girl in the water or something?
okay.
Yeah.
The one where in that hotel or
It was
the
Ron
apartment
Howard's.
complex.
It was Ron Howard's daughter. I think it was like her first movie.
I actually liked that one. I'm
I
sorry.
actually really. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the.
Are you talking about the movie Mama or something like that?
No.
No.
Do you remember? Okay, I'm sorry, but The Village sucks balls.
And the happening. I couldn't say.
And The Happening. Oh my God, it's the grass. It's trying to kill us.
No,
I
but
was watching Cloverfield the other day, and that movie's a trip.
Yeah.
I like Cloverfield.
It's a trip.
You know, I was happy to see it at home. It wasn't as bad. In the theaters, it made you want to vomit.
Oh, I loved it in theaters.
Ugh.
I had a good time watching that. My buddy's dad, who was going through cancer treatment at the time, wanted to watch it, and the medicine was making him nauseous, and he had to duck out. And I'm like, we got to leave, and he's like, no, I'm just going to hang out here. You guys make sure you go watch the movie and everything. You don't want to be rude. And we're like, no, we're leaving. But we went back and watched it again. But yeah, it messed with him real bad.
Yeah, because of all that.
Mhm.
It's like Blair Witch
Yeah.
if they were running side to side all the time. Like, what the
Right?
heck?
Yeah.
So
Do that again.
Those fucking eyeballs.
So, Mikey, you also brought up the Men in Black. You wanted to talk about
Yeah.
Whoa. Have we finished the
so-
crop signs already? Hang on.
Oh,
Have we
you're right.
finished?
Right.
We haven't finished
Yeah,
Crop
yeah,
Circle.
I got ahead of
Wait a
myself.
second.
Handicap.
That That is straight up. We got trolled on this one. This was awesome.
It looks like looks like Patrick Stewart and fucking Professor X. And
Patrick Stewart.
that's where Bluebird lands.
Xavier.
This is fucking crazy. So has
Now my
anybody,
friend's
has anybody ever explained, like, has there been any kind of explanation at all about where these crop signs come from, or is that still like one of those unsolved mysteries?
It's still one of the unsolved mysteries that, I mean, nobody's been able to really explain what it really is, what it means.
Well, okay, there's multiple theories on this one. There are people who have done hoaxes, and I want to say actually
They've done them pretty well.
that one of these two, I think, I want to say it was this one.
No, are you sure it's not? Are you sure?
Come on, put the one there. There we go.
This is for real. This is a real one. But
Well, that's what I was going to say. That there's two schools on that. Some are hoaxes, and some they can't explain at all.
yeah, well, like there's been guys who have said, "Hey, this is how I did it."
Mm-hmm.
On a few of them,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like there's others that are so complex and so intricate. Like there's no possible way that somebody spent one night doing them
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
literally appear overnight.
Well, and it has something to do
Exactly.
too with the way the corn stalks are bent, because a lot of people that'll actually go in and try to do like the try to fool people to see how well they can fool people. You know, they'll use the boards and different mathematical figurations, or come up with mathematical formulas to make sure that from above it's all symmetrical and stuff. But there are few that they say, in the way that the corn stalks were bent, that it would have had to have been extremely high levels of heat, or even sometimes certain types of radiation that would
Yep.
normally have killed them or burn them up.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I mean, them things are like perfect. I mean, fucking perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just insane.
Mhm,
That
it really is.
This was the Dalai Lama of space coming back to give us a mandala to meditate on. Just saying.
Well, I know from living on a farm myself and actually being in cornfields and stuff like that, it's not easy to. If you push a stalk down, it goes from the base and it goes down. It does not. It's hard to break. And I think that's what they're saying. Like, it's usually like
They
a
get them to break all the same direction, all the same way.
Mhm.
I've seen some pictures where they're just laid perfect. They're like broke perfect, pretty much at the same fucking spot, laid on top of each other perfectly. How could someone do that overnight?
Exactly.
True. Yeah.
You get a couple drunk kids on a farm. We can get some new stuff.
Come on, brother. Let's go out here and let's go out there and kick some corn over and make us some crop signs.
We got wasted one night. And we built a staircase to the top of a haystack. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we didn't die. Hi, Mary Beth.
Good, Mary Beth.
So I guess I have a story. I can go next. If anybody out there has watched American Horror Story, Asylum, do you guys remember? It was Evan Peters' character that basically they accused him of killing his wife, and then his wife comes back. So there's no, not really. So there's a story that I found of Betty and Barney Hill's alien abduction story, and how it basically defined a genre.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me, like their story reminded me of the American Horror Story. Oh God. Hi, Carl.
Very coordinated. Everyone's rolling at the same time. Oh, Mary Beth loves American Horror Story. I only like a couple seasons of it.
I like most of them except Roanoke. The accusation of a felony or that she came back. Wait, what?
He murdered
Huh?
his wife, or that she came back. American Horror Story.
You just talked about it.
Yeah.
You're
Come
not
on.
so.
No, I didn't. That was a blonde moment.
Okay.
All right, so I guess I can read this because it's not like.
It's not very. Oh, it's very long.
Okay, so this is actually from the History Channel, guys. And so, basically, this is how they start out. Is it
Welcome to Intelligent Indoor
what
Grilling
the fuck?
with the Ninja Foodie
Oh, it's
Smart
the-
Expert
Yeah.
Grill.
It's
Eliminate the
the.
guesswork
There's a
with the
promo on
Smart
there.
Cook
I have to say
Where?
everything.
Where?
Go, 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 go. Right
Select
there.
your
Go back down. Go back down. Center.
Grill more
Sports Center.
There you go.
What the fuck is happening tonight?
Dun-na-na, Alien Center.
It's the
The
aliens,
aliens are trolling us.
bro. Aliens.
Get in the bubble.
Okay. So it starts off saying, "Is it chasing us?" That thought coursed through Betty and Barney's minds as they drove down the empty, winding country road in New Hampshire's White Mountains. It was a September night in 1961. They hadn't seen a car for miles, and a strange light in the sky seemed to follow them. When they got home to Portsmouth, of course it's Portsmouth, right? At dawn, they were far from relieved. They felt dirty. Their watches stopped working. Barney's shoes were strangely scuffed. Betty's dress was ripped. There were 2 hours of the drive.
Oh shit!
Did we just hear ripped breasts?
Barney, like the aliens.
Did we just hear ripped breasts? What's wrong with these aliens?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. My
Fucking
bad.
aliens be getting freaky.
We'll get to that later.
I don't know.
So,
There we go.
there were 2 hours of the drive that neither of them could remember. That was basically, with the help of a psychiatrist, the quiet couple eventually revealed their startling story. Gray beings with large eyes had walked them into a metallic disc as wide as Betty's house, she said. Once inside, the beings examined the couple and erased their memories, apparently not well enough. Their experience would kick off an Air Force inquiry, part of the secretive initiative Project Blue Book that investigated UFO sightings across the country. The incident would also become the first ever widely publicized alien abduction account and shape how stories were told from then on. So there's a debate that continues as to whether they were lying, whether they were crackpots, whether they were creating these fantasies, or simply sleep deprived who later scrambled to try to come up with memories.
Real fast. Project Blue Book is actually, you can. It was one of those things that was very real in the moment, and now that you go look it up, it's like, oh yeah, it existed, but you can't really find anything on it. The UFOs and all that stuff, the UFO Society and stuff like that, they have a lot of stuff on this, but yeah. What is it? What did you say?
There's the orgy theme again. The aliens are just creepy. And they have no, Carl, that's hentai.
The porn.
So, let me scroll. The Hills road trip was spontaneous, a well-earned break. Barney decided the couple had needed it. They explained in the book The Interrupted Journey that they collaborated with author John D. Fuller. Barney worked a grueling night shift at the post office, driving 60 miles each way. Betty's job was handling the state child welfare cases that was not easier. The little free time did they really have to mention that they were a biracial couple?
Well, at the
Whatever.
time, it was the 60s, but
The little free time that this biracial couple had was devoted to their church activities and the civil rights movement. After 16 months of marriage, Betty and Barney saw this trip through Montreal and Niagara Falls as their delayed honeymoon. They left impulsively, had no time to go to the bank before it closed that weekend. They got in their car with less than $70 in their pocket. On the night of their on the last night of the 3-day trip, the couple sipped coffee in Vermont to recharge, and Barney figured if they pushed through, they could beat the wind and rain and from the approaching hurricane. And they left around 10 from Vermont, estimating that they would reach the farmhouse in Portsmouth at about 2 or 3 a.m. So as they drove, strange lights in the sky gave another reason to hurry. At first, it looked like a falling star, but grew larger and brighter with each mile. Barney, an avid plane watcher and a World War II vet, was sure they had nothing to worry about. It's just a satellite, he assured her. It probably went off course. The light seemed to move with the car as Barney steered down the curving road. The light zigged and zagged, ducking past the moon and behind trees and the mountain ranges, only to reappear moments later. Sometimes it seemed to move towards them in a game of cat and mouse. It had to be an illusion, they thought. Maybe the car's movement made it seem like the light was moving too. Curiosity overcame them. The couple pulled over at a picnic turnout. Through binoculars, Betty saw that the white light was really an object spinning in the air. So I'm going to scroll down because this is a whole lot of stuff. Where's the thing that says, is that the picture you put up?
I think so.
You didn't put any of them up.
Oh, yeah, that one, I couldn't get it to download.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I can't show the picture, but there are diagrams. Like, these people honest and truly believe, and I don't doubt them, that they were abducted. They came out there, they've drawn diagrams to show them people what they look like. And I guess I'm going to leave this into people. There's always the argument. Are they green, little green people? Are they, what are they? And
Well, if they Greys, they're assholes.
Yeah, this one said that they were the Greys.
Yeah.
The
Well, I
Greys
know Barney Hill, if for anybody that's a UFO aficionado, I mean, they're up there with what's that guy's name that they based the book and the movie Fire in the Sky on? Because there were a lot of things with that particular case that did give validity to their experience.
Sorry, that has to be distortion.
Oh, there she is.
Oh.
She found everyone.
Now she found us.
Sorry. Now
Go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that if anybody isn't a UFO aficionado, like Ben and Barney and what was his wife's name? Betty. Okay. Barney and Betty Hill. I mean, they're right up there with the guys that were involved in that UFO abduction that they based the movie Fire in the Sky and the movie on. That's a scary thing. I mean, because there were certain things to go along with that particular case with the Hills that does give some validity to their case.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, they were able to give detailed descriptions and not just like, oh, they stuck a finger up my ass or anything like that. Like, they had detailed descriptions of the inside of the place.
It was through, though. It was through him. It wasn't through anything else.
Yeah. Well, they had to have them pulled out of their memory.
Yeah.
But they gave details about how it looked, how big it was inside, as I was able to describe.
And they had to lose to come out with the story. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't like some, guy living up in the mountains that said, I saw a UFO go by my house. He doesn't have anything to lose. I mean, like you said, I mean, she was within the social worker background. I mean, they had stuff to lose
Yeah,
by coming out.
Definitely. I'm sorry, I had to put this up. So my 3-year-old said aliens are stinky.
That's why every the Trunk Monkey, the Alien Edition.
Good.
All right.
Look it off. There we go.
So
who's next?
Mother Basil Morton.
Yes, I'll go. Let me turn up the light so that my old rotten eyeballs can see. Hang on just a second. All right.
I'm going
to give you a little bit of scientific information that may not seem, you'll be asking, like, why am I telling you this? But there's a reason. So this is kind of it's not very well known. It's a case called Organism 46B. So Lake Vostok is the largest of Antarctic's almost 400 known subglacier lakes. Lake Vostok is located in the southern pole of cold beneath Russia's Vostok Station under the surface of the central eastern Arctic ice sheet, which is at 11,444 feet above sea level. The surface of the freshwater lake is approximately 13,100 feet under the surface of the ice, which places it at approximately 1,600 feet below sea level. The lake is divided into 2 deep basins by a ridge. The liquid water depth over the ridge is about 700 feet compared to roughly 1,300 feet deep in the northern basin and 2,600 feet deep in the southern. So it's pretty big. It's a pretty deep lake. The existence of subglacial lake at the Vostok region was first suggested by Russian geographer Andrei Kostepa, based on seismic soundings made during the Soviet Arctic expedition in 1959 and 1964 to measure the thickness of the ice sheet. The continued research by Russian and British scientists, led by basically a crew in 1993, to the final confirmation of the existence of the lake by J.P. Ridley using ERS-1 laser artimetry. So basically, it's kind of like ground penetrating lasers. The overlying ice provides a continuous paleoclimate record of 400,000 years, although the lake water itself may have been isolated for up to 15 to 25 million years. So this lake, whatever is down there at this time, had not seen daylight or the touch of man for 15 to 25 million years. On the 15th of February 2012, a team of Russian scientists completed the longest ever ice core of about 12,400 feet and pierced the ice shield to the surface of the lake. The first core of freshly frozen lake ice was obtained on the 10th of January of 2013 at a depth of 11,175 feet. So they had to go down pretty far. However, as soon as the ice was pierced, water from the underlying lake gushed up the borehole, mixing with a freon and kerosene mixture used to keep the borehole from freezing. A new borehole was drilled and allegedly pristine water samples were obtained in January of 2015. The Russian team plans to eventually lower a probe into the lake to collect water samples and sediments from the bottom. It is hypothesized that unusual forms of life could be found in the lake's liquid layer, a fossil water reserve, because Lake Vostok may contain, forms of life. Lake Vostok could contain an environment completely sealed off below the ice for millions of years. The conditions could resemble those of ice-covered oceans hypothesized to exist on Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus.
Don't
Lake
forget
Vostok.
Uranus.
I'm sorry.
Don't forget Uranus.
Yeah,
I am never too old for that joke.
Lake.
I am never too old for that joke.
So anyway, so they're comparing this particular situation with what hypothetically might be found in some lakes on other planets, frozen lakes and other planets. So Lake Vostok is an oleotropic extreme environment, one that is expected to be supersaturated with nitrogen and oxygen, and based on theory is 50 times higher than those typically found in ordinary freshwater lakes on Earth's surface. The lake is under complete darkness and expected to be rich in oxygen, so there is speculation that any organism inhabiting the lake could have evolved in a manner unique to its environment. Living microorganisms have been found in Lake Vostok's deep ice core drilling. They are extant surface-dwelling species. This suggests the presence of a deep biosphere utilizing geothermal systems of bedrock encircling the subglacial lake. So even though it's cold down there, it could be like the biothermal like tubes, the volcanic tube that are really, really deep in the ocean that they have found life kind of living around. Scientists first reported evidence of microbes in the accretion ice in 1999. Since then, a different team led, and understand that a different team led by Scott O. Rogers has been identifying a variety of bacteria and fungus from accretion ice collected during U.S. drilling projects in the 1990s, which are these people. These people were the one that started the first borehole in the 1990s. But the odd thing, I'm sorry?
I just realized
that's ice that they're holding.
I thought they were holding skis for a second.
But this group right here is the one that did the first initial borehole. Nobody knows who they are. And you know, academia and scientists, they are really quick to want to get their names out there. So nobody knows who these people are. Okay. And that's what I found odd with this research is we're about to go from scientific that National Geographic picked up on, Live Science picked up on, a lot of the other really big magazines and publications. And then it's going to go straight from that to complete woo-woo. And for anybody that does research knows that it doesn't normally happen that way. You usually see some sort of trail of where it go, like, okay, well, I can see where they come up with that story, or you know what. But when you do research on this particular thing that happened, it's very, very odd because it goes from one complete extreme to the next.
Yeah.
So
it's the thing that happened with like Project Blue Book. That's what we're just saying right now. It was while it was going on, it was okay. This is being done, and then when it was over with, they're like, "Oh no, you guys are all crazy. What are you talking about? You know, this never happened." Yeah,
exactly. So we were talking about the drilling project in 1990. So according to this other guy that's running this new team, this indicates that the lake below the ice is not sterile, but contains a unique ecosystem. In 2020, Colby Gura and Scott Rogers extended their study of Lake Vostok accretion ice, as well as the basal ice flowing into the lake. They found that the basal ice contained an almost completely different community of organisms compared to those found in the lake acceleration ice, indicating that they signified two completely different ecosystems. Were you going to ask a question?
Oh no, we're just reading Carl's thing. He said, "I have no problem imagining that once the area was sealed off, it was evolve or die."
Exactly.
can survive the evolution, I'm sure whatever is in the lake can too.
Have you ever,
We're about to might be in that lake. But I wanted to let you know that they are like, there's a lot of scientific data that kind of goes right along with what they're talking about. Like they're saying, but they're not saying it. So in 2020, a study also, they found an rRNA sequence that was 97% similar to that from a rock cod commonly found along the coast of Antarctica. So they have found, even though this area was completely sealed off, they have found, certain rRNA or like DNA sequencing that is very similar to a particular type of cod found in other parts of Antarctica. This is the first report of a fish species possibly residing in Lake Vostok. The fish is known to produce anti-freezing proteins, so it won't freeze. However, microbiologists basically disagree, and they're saying that they believe that this particular information that they found was somehow contaminated because of the antifreeze and the kerosene, but that would be easy to pick out of a DNA lineup. However, Scott Rogers, the one that was involved in some of the core drilling, he refutes that because the controlled measures were rigorous and the combinations of organisms found in each of the ice samples were consistent with organisms living in a cold lake and ice, including a sequence from that rock cod. There were inconsistent with contamination introduced while sampling from the lab or on site. Also, all of the lab procedures were performed in parallel with ice samples from Lake Erie. So they had another lake that they wanted to compare it to. Now, Russian and French scientists have been carrying out molecule DNA studies of the water from Lake Vostok that was frozen in the borehole by constructing numerous DNA libraries, which are collections of fragments of DNA that allow scientists to identify which species of bacteria that they may belong to. So far, the scientists have been able to identify 255 contained species, but also have found unknown bacterium that they initially drilled down to the lake surface in 2012 with no matches to any international database, and they hope it may be a unique inhabitants of Lake Vostok. So it kind of goes on, about that and talking about how they're finding new bacteriums and things like that. So in January of 2015, the Russian press stated that Russian scientists had made a new clean borehole. Let's see. And in fact, the lake water rose from the lake to the heights of more than 500 meters. In October of that same year, the work was suspended from the southern summer because of insufficient funding by the federal Russian government. So it basically, they're doing all this research, it's showing up in all these scientific magazines, and then they just halt it. And they say that the reason they're halting it is because of a lack of funding with the Russian government, which to me, I would think if a government really wants to find out about something, they can, and it doesn't have anything to do with the funding. So to get to the encounter, so Vostok Station, which, like I said, was established by the Soviets in 1957, was discovered to have been sighted atop a vast body of liquid water beneath the ice in 1974, sequentially named Lake Vostok after the station. After 30 years of ice core drilling, the research team finally breached through the lake on the 5th of February 2012. The only encounter, must have occurred sometime between then and the 30th of November of 2016, when the first borehole was drilled. Although exact dates so far have been proven to impossibly track down. Now, a Dr. Padlaka claims to have been part of the first scientific expedition to explore the lake, and he stated, "We encountered organism 46B on our first day. It disabled our radio, which was later learned to our alarm was intentional. It also was able to paralyze prey from a distance of up to 150 feet by releasing a venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was killed this way. Later, while diving in the lake, the group was attacked. And basically what they had said is they had constructed like this elevator type thing, like a diver could go down into with one of those suits that was like for high pressure and stuff.
This is very much so the thing.
Do what?
This is very much so the thing.
Yes. So it's very much John Carpenter's The Thing. So.
Oh, sorry, Sid. Where are you going? You look at you're about to say. No, you look about to say something real fast. Like, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I want to make sure the conversation all.
And I keep going. So if you need me to stop, just tell me to stop. So
you're totally
I just don't want to take up everybody's time.
Okay, no, you're fine. Go.
Okay. So anyway, that this thing, whatever it was, had disabled his radio. It was also able to paralyze prey from a distance of 150 feet by releasing its venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was killed this way. Later, while diving in the lake, the group was attacked. The creature releasing its venom into the water, which took hold of one of them, then killing and eating him. As Padaka stated, he treaded water, which I think he's talking, the way he's talking, treaded water is not the same thing that we think of. He's like swimming in place, basically, as a diver. Treading water, a blissful smile as the organism approached him. He watched helplessly as it used its arms to tear off his head, then popped its remains into his mouth. It was as if it had hypnotized him telepathically. Now, what he's describing is this thing looks like an octopus, but instead of 8 legs, it's got like 14 legs, and has compared it to its capability of disguise like the glass octopus. But it can do a couple of different things that apparently the glass octopus can't do.
Yeah.
So he's stating that it could shapeshift. It actually shapeshift to look like one of their comrades down there, and they did not realize until the comrade got closer that it was in fact not him. There was also tale of one of the other divers being attacked and was able to cut off the tentacle that had her around the leg. But the tentacle seemed to work of its own accord even after being separated from the body, and its venom wound up killing her as well. Now, it stated that he actually took refuge in Switzerland, and this is kind of how this story came about. For the ones left over, they stated that after finally trapping the creature in a tank, the surviving members of the team brought it to the surface, where they claimed Russian officials seized the beast and told the international press that nothing had been found. And to kind of go off of that, there are a lot of people that believe the claims are a hoax, which they do seem very far-fetched. But again, it's very hard to find any information as far as who this first original group were, and you can't find anything about this Dr. Pandaka, which means it could either be a hoax or it could very well mean that the gentleman's in hiding. So I just thought that was weird, and very reminiscent of alien life forms under the Arctic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
John Connor's The Thing.
And wait, there was a comment that I thought I saw over here. Oh, here it is. Ray, Hollywood isn't far off. We're not alone.
Yeah, it really is. What is it? They say like the movies imitate life. Life sometimes imitates the movies.
Well, look at Paul. The movie Paul was actually based on
I'm sorry,
that.
but this is my favorite comment.
This is like a fucked up hentai.
For real.
I'm pretty sure. Here.
be foolish to think that there is no other life out there, and
Well,
and the government knows that there's life out there. So what exactly is it? If it ever makes you wonder, what exactly is it that scares the government so much to let it out and into the public? You know what I mean? Why are they keeping it such a secretive thing when most of us know, and we're not dumb. Anybody who sits and thinks about it knows that in this universe there has got to be more than just us. I used to have a theory when I was younger that we're like an alien species ourselves that's migrated from another planet that's lost its resources, and we was able to migrate ourselves here to planet Earth because we're able to survive.
mhm.
But that was just one of my old theories as a kid. I thought, well, why couldn't we be like migrated ourselves from one planet like maybe Mars? They say Mars is similar to Earth. Yeah, so theories, nothing's facts, but just theories. So what is it about the thought of alien life form or alien life form landed? What is it? Maybe it's not the government that wants to hide it so much. What is it about us that would strike so much fear when we already know that there's life out there? If alien life form did land, it has come here. What if
Well,
an alien life form landed and it's like wanted to introduce themselves?
power. I think it comes back to power, whether it's religious power, like organized religious power, or governmental power. If it was plain in your face that there were other planets that had life, do you see what I'm getting at? It would be very, very hard to concentrate on
Do
everything,
they think that we're done?
yeah, but to think something and then to think something and have it proven for real in your face are kind of
Something in our human race must just the thought. If let's just think about it, if alien life form has landed here and like the government they wanted to like find like migrate or they needed to do the same thing like what we needed to do. Why is it always what when we see like aliens on movies and TV shows and pictures and illustrations, they're all humanoid formed?
exactly. Well, and that's what made me so like interested in that story, because the scientific side of it that have been picked up by magazines and things like that 100% verify that there's organisms in that area in that water that they can't identify. Now, is it to the extreme that it's some sort of Cthulhian monster that can crawl up out of a borehole and disable your radio? I don't know, but I think probably the truth could be found somewhere right in between.
Do you think it's possible that maybe it's that these aliens in general are not something? They're not tangible on this plane. If you understand what I'm saying.
That's possible.
They're interdimensional, and that aliens appear humanoid because it's something that they're able to tap into our human psyche and say, okay, you know what? If we actually show you what we really look like, we're going to be blowing your fucking mind, and you're going to just die on the spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to make you have a relationship with us and stuff like that. So we're going to show you something because one of the things I always talked about with like friends and stuff like that. Maybe it's not going light years and light years away to find a planet, but they more or less fold their reality down onto us.
There are quantum theories that go along with that and along with black holes, and that there may be other life forms that do exist as like a layer theory, but that and again, I'm not trying to get religious or anything like that, but if there is some sort of omnipotent being that created space and time itself, that it was a way to keep those separate. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yep.
So
I'm just laughing at some of these comments. First off, absolutely too many Santa Claus sightings. Second, Do y'all remember a year ago when a whole bunch of Kyles and Karens were planning on invading Area 51?
That started here in Bakersfield.
That started here. So yes, we remember. And the guy became famous, and he was like, "I was joking."
He actually got death threats, like going to Bakersfield College.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, I just wanted to go have a rave out in the desert. I didn't want this to turn into like aliens, guys clapping alien cheeks and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then when we were talking about, migrating from some other planet, Carl said, or whatever planet the asteroid belt used to be.
That's true. That's true. And to go back to quantum theory, like I've listened to some podcasts on it and just read some different things. Is that in the middle of, and this is just a theory, it's not proven, but that's most of science. Is that a lot of it is just theory that's based up by mathematical, equations and things like that. But that the middle of a black hole.
Oh, Natalie, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's more like the middle of a brown hole.
More like the middle of the brown eye.
As far as like the way things are supposed to be, they don't exist there. Okay. There is no master plan. So like our universe could be seeing the backside of another universe. So when a star implodes and causes a black hole, it sucks everything in, and it's like a buildup. So they theorize it has to blow something out the back end, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the physics have to be the same as ours, because none of it applies in the middle of a black circle at the event horizon.
Let me ask you guys this.
That's
real
deep.
fast.
I wanted to do this too.
Okay, so I was actually listening to another thing too, because you reminded me of it. Do you think possibly that maybe our universe is actually inside a black hole, and the reason why everything looks so vast and it's because we are inside it looking, we're inside it looking out, and because on the outside actually there's a ton of freaking societies, everything out there, but we got sucked in.
I don't know.
I say there's like thousands of Milky Ways, and I want to. We're probably like there's probably my theory is there's like some sort of life form in those each individual Milky Ways. There might be several silver planets like we have here in our solar system, but there's on one of those planets there's some sort of life form, and I'm sure we've been visiting.
Just a little ball on like on a cat's neck.
Yeah. Oh, Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Yeah.
So, Ray said in 2006, Benna, Minnesota, 12 a.m. Go. I was outside smoking a cigarette when multiple heavy noises moving between my cabin and main lodge, 50 feet between us, came out. There's a continuation. I gotta find it. He said, I've seen it. And it was caught on night vision camera, closed circuit.
What was it? Just some sort of being?
We will find out when he answers.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Steve. Hey, Aaron.
What if black holes lead to white holes and the Big Bang was actually a white hole? I don't know, Steve. I don't know. Wormwood is coming. Oh my goodness. I have not heard about wormwood in ages.
Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
There we go. We'll be here soon.
Isn't Anunnaki the red dwarf planet or something like that? That's supposedly close to the Earth.
Isn't there a planet that's like not even on any like like rotation or whatever. It's literally just kind of like floating around out there. It's not stuck inside the gravitational pull of something. I was hearing
I don't
that.
know.
And I forget the story behind wormwood, but I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, everything was about wormwood. It was supposed to, signify some sort of catastrophic event of some sort.
Who remembers that one mysterious satellite? And I think it's still orbiting around Earth. The one they called the Black Knight.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out what it was. And I think it's still orbiting around the Earth.
I don't know. I remember hearing something about that, but I don't remember like a whole lot about it. Those who from the heavens
Yeah, there's
came.
not really much.
So Ray has his response up here. 2 gray aliens, 4.5 feet tall, and a predator alien like hunting grays.
I have heard other reports of these alien type predators, the ones that have almost like the morphic like camouflage. So that is not the first time I've heard that. I've heard of people reporting that. And again, it goes back to a lot of people that would have something to lose by coming out with these stories. And grays are assholes.
Well, bringing up Steve's thing with the no commander, I know my old best friend. He's either making a reference to Stargate, or we're actually.
Well, no. Look, Aaron said Anunnaki first.
No, I know.
They said they didn't know what. We didn't remember what it meant.
Oh, okay.
He said those from the heaven.
This guy's a funny guy, but he's also really smart as fuck. Bringing up what he was saying, though, like those from above, it makes sense with like the ancient gods and stuff like that, and especially with like the Norse, like the Norse pantheon and stuff like that being probably more likely alien, something that actually connected with the Scandinavian people at the time, and was like, hey, there's 9 planets, there's this, there's that, so they actually had to turn around and actually have 9 realms and stuff like that, nine different places to visit. I've always actually thought that. And there was also Stargate too that actually confirmed that for me, because there was the Asgardians from Stargate.
Well, there's a lot that goes along with that, because if you think about it, I think a lot of some of these mythological like gods, who's to say they weren't from some other planet? Because you have these lakes that were obviously man-made, and these earth drawings that were obviously man-made, that go back like hundreds of, they go back a long time, back to like the hunter-gatherer days, that would almost be virtually impossible, because like algebra wasn't invented yet, for these cultures to draw these things out, and like all the pyramids built right around the same time, and they all having so much similarity.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at the what's the Peruvian plains or something like that, where they actually drew out gigantic animals. They thought they were more or less landing strips, saying, "Hey, we're here. This is where you land."
Yeah,
come in.
Exactly.
Well, it's like
very bizarre things that we just can't explain. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah. Since all.
Freaking Sierra is making me die laughing.
She's your Tom.
I saw my mom and grandma naked one time. Does that count as alien?
Well, here's one. Here you go, Sierra. All I know is if aliens are real, don't think I won't snatch one up and put a saddle on it like my praying mantis. Woo! Okay, so Aaron says all the Egyptian gods. I was going to mention the Norse pantheon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems like these various depictions of gods and goddesses, they all seem to come from the sky. And then there are completely inexplainable structures that, like, we would have trouble making today with all of the equipment that we have. And I mean, you have the Great Pyramid of Giza. I know. You have the Sphinx. You have the 3 pyramids that literally line up with the belt in Orion's belt. The 3 stars.
Well, there's an older one too. When you talk about pyramids, there's one off, I believe, I want to say the coast of China that predates the pyramids by thousands of years. And they just recently found that one.
We said his name. He showed up. Tom!
Hey, Tom.
He knew his ears were burning.
I've been to the mountaintop. Oh, okay. Yep, that's my people. In the beginning was guinea pig. What?
The Great Nothing. The Great Nothing.
I just said guinea pig. That was my people in the beginning. We were the great guinea pig. I don't speak, bro.
I am of the great guinea pig.
I can sing black metal. That's all I can do. I don't know what I'm singing. I'm screaming.
Yeah, but the time of the great guinea pig could have very well go back to what Sid was talking about could we have sent a colony of aliens down here to see if they could breed with whatever life form was here on Earth. So that would be the time of the great guinea pig.
Yep.
I almost ruined my PC. I almost spit my beer out all over it.
And then this is what I was laughing at. You said my name.
Oh yeah.
Anyone over 6'5", definitely an alien. Especially that big bird bitch alien.
That's very true. Oh, Steve.
I'm between y'all. We've been Christian for 1,000 years and worship Odin for like 1,200,000.
Well, you guys became Christians so you guys can trade. So come on now. Oh, Damon Baird. Another from Hollywood that's a legendary Chewie.
Chewbacca.
Star Wars Bigfoot.
The Star Wars Bigfoot.
Yes. And there's a lot of people think that he is a multi-dimensional traveler.
Have you seen the pictures? Okay, so Steve just reminded me of this. He said it literally has nothing to do. I went squirrel on this, but if you go forward in time 100,000 years, there will be no evidence of our civilization except stone structures. No evidence of our technology will exist. How many times could this have happened in the last 3.5 billion years? We lost Sid. We will find
Exactly.
you. And now I forgot what I was going to say. The time traveler.
Mm-hmm.
You know that guy? Like, they find him in normal clothing, but he is all over the place in all of these pictures, and they haven't been able to explain them. And they're not like they were able to test some of these pictures.
I forget his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Crap! I listened to something about 6 months ago about him.
Yeah. That was the crazy part. So Sid had to bounce.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Sid.
But yeah, that guy. I wish I could find that picture. He's inexplicably. He's on a cell phone too, wasn't he? In that one picture.
It wasn't like from the 80s or something like that, and he was actually on the cell phone or something like that. I can't remember.
No, I saw a video one time of a lady. I don't know, it was back in the 40s or something like that in Hollywood, and it's a video where this lady's walking. She's on a cell phone.
Huh.
Like literally, she's holding a cell phone.
Well, and Einstein, he did theorize that time travel was possible. And yes, it would be easier to, if I remember correctly, it would be easier to move back in time than it would be to move forward in time. because you wouldn't have a placement of where you were going. The problem is if you get into parallel universes, that when you came back to your time, would you actually be in your universe, or would you be in a mirror universe of some sort?
Right, like some kind of multiverse.
Bring it up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the nerd. I'm gonna be the comic book nerd. Bring up the Avengers. The Avengers made a good point that no matter what you do, say if you go back in time, that still isn't technically going back in time because you're actually still going forward in your future. You know,
that's
it's
true.
Still moving forward, you still are in your future. So if you go back in time, I mean, Professor Hulk, he's the reason why he's so freaking smart is because that is your future. You know, that is
well, and you think is time really linear? Because as humans, we think that
not.
And it goes forward and it ends, but that may not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I was watching a video on YouTube one time because I like to watch a lot of those videos of like time travelers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying that there's this one time traveler that came back, and supposedly they interviewed this guy, and he says that in the future time traveling is possible, but that you cannot that you're not allowed to mess with anything at all. Like you're invisible, I guess, to I guess your own self, something like that. But basically, yeah, you can't mess with it, or else I think you mess up the whole future.
The butterfly effect.
The butterfly
Yes,
effect.
there we go.
Or you could, if you want to get into that kind of stuff, you could form what's called, is it a pocket universe? It's exactly what happened in Donnie Darko.
Yes.
I think it's more of a different. I mean, to get into like the whole like comic stuff, it's more like forming different timelines. When you go back,
quantum physics.
Yeah, it's strings. Or would that be string theory right there? Because you're forming different universes. No matter what you do, you're already on this one place. There is nothing you can do to change this one reality. It is what it is. If you go back, and you do change things, it's a whole new other reality. You're just going off in a different tangent, different way. I mean,
and that's what the director in Donnie Darko was trying to explain, was the fact that when Frank came back, the guy that was dressed like the bunny, he disrupted the way that time was supposed to happen. In other words, Donnie was supposed to have been killed by that engine that dropped in through his house. But Frank stopped that from happening, which caused, and it's not a pocket universe. That's something completely different. But it's called something, and I can't remember the name of it. But basically, it gives you a chance to get time back on track. In other words, Donnie had to die, and that's the reason at the end he went and did what he did. Because if you do, it could if you change it too much and things don't happen the way they're supposed to, it could cause all reality to explode.
Yeah.
So here's the picture Mikey was talking about, where it's a picture before cell phones were created, and there she is.
Could I actually get the skeptic here? Is she possibly just scratching her face and someone caught the picture?
No, you can see a device in her hand. If you look closely, you can see a device in her hand. I'm looking at it right now, and it looks like it's something black.
Well, then there's
it kind of looks like my LG. Yeah, that's the other one.
That's the other one we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into the comments again, because there's been a lot going on. All right.
Apparently, the humans were slaves of the Anunnaki. They worked for
Anunnaki.
Vanished here from. Aaron, are you literally quoting Stargate right now?
Yes.
That is Stargate. I've watched that movie 1,000,000 times. It's a badass movie. I love James Spader. But that is, I already know there is an alien colony on Earth.
Look at Carl.
Welcome to California, everybody. That's very true.
So what? That colony is ran by the worst of the Greys, called Pelosi.
Pelosi.
She is about to put it out. She's
The
about to
Pelosians.
put it out.
Okay, let's not get onto that right now.
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
The vast majority that they have in the house, she's about to lose her speakership.
Is the great guinea pig anything like the great?
No, the Great Guinea Pig is like the Great Migration.
You made me laugh so hard. Back in the Great Guinea Pig, I was all, I'm going to spit my beer out everywhere.
And Indian Ridge Beta.
It describes battles with flying vessels that shoot fire on the ground, that roll over people and shoot fire, and so on. Carl, there are a lot of ancient texts, and I don't want to say ancient texts. Well, some of them are ancient, but really far back, like 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th century, that do record different celestial battles and
even the Bible, kind of like in the last days when they're talking about, like, what is it, the grasshoppers or whatever in the sky, they're actually almost like not prophetic, but they're describing I'm trying not to read it so I can actually finish my thought. They're actually describing, like, Apache helicopters and stuff like that in the end days, like actually big wars going on. Moving forward in time is actually possible. It happens every time gravity's effect on you is decreased.
Well, and you can stop time too. For some, what is it? The higher you get, the slower time runs. So technically, if an astronaut were to revolve around the Earth at the speed of sound, time would completely stop.
They actually did I forgot the English physicist. He's a very young, attractive English physicist, but I forgot his name. He actually
young, attractive English.
Huh? Oh, I just thought I remembered him. I was like, he's very handsome for a man. He actually reminded me of someone from Oasis, but he did this. Experiment on stage for people who were in. He had an audience and everything. He was describing time, and he was describing. So he had put someone on a trolley, and while they're on a trolley, they had a light. They turn off the light. So he had a camera on him, and then there was a camera in the back of the audience, right? So while they're moving across the stage slowly, he's moving the light up and down like this. To him, the light seems normal, right? It's just going up and down. But in the back of the stage, the light is flowing like this, and actually slower. So they were saying that even the further you are away from something like time travel, so that actually is perceived from your view. So, and it actually showed, it's like, from his camera, the thing is just bouncing up and down normal. There's no issue. But when you're in the back of the audience, it's actually moving slower. And so that,
People who enjoy Sudoku.
I know. I was trying not to read Distortion's comment because I was about to crap up, and I was trying to listen to what Frank was saying.
Fucking Vienna sausages.
Read it.
Here's my list of people who I believe are aliens: crackheads, people who eat Vienna sausages.
I love Vienna sausage.
Ambidextrous people.
Fucking Vienna sausages, man.
People who make bath bombs and sparkly tumbler cups. People who say "hold your horses," clowns, and people who enjoy Sudoku.
I'm married.
Man, I'm just trying to draw my Sudokus.
Hold your horses, Distortion.
By the way, Distortion, I pronounce them the proper way. They're Viney sausage.
Viney weenies.
Because I am part Okie.
Beanie weenies.
No, in Tennessee it was Viney weenies. I'm like, it doesn't even say weenie on the can. How are you getting that?
Steve said it properly. I'm sorry. I think I messed up.
Relativity inaccurate.
Yeah, it was relatively inaccurate. Right. Sorry, I messed up.
Or if you're brought up in a Mexican family like me, it's get us wieners. Get us wieners. Get us wieners.
We're technically aliens right now because The Californians and the Texans are speaking right now. I'm sorry.
I yell out chupa.
Chupa-la-venga.
Come verga.
What does it mean again?
¿Qué?
There you go.
Come verga.
A la
Oh,
verga.
so let's bring up Sierra's comment real fast, and we'll go to another topic real quick.
No, you know what? I know you were talking about each one of us in some way here, saying we're all aliens.
Sierra, you told me, and I called it out when you did your makeup tutorial a while ago.
See?
You said, and I said it to you, I was like, you're more fairy-like.
Although the crackhead doesn't
you
stay
said
here anymore.
you said that you weren't exactly a clown. You said you were more
Crackhead isn't here anymore.
right here.
Oh, vaya verga.
Steve lives by my work. He's
No vale verga.
a fucking badass dude.
A la
He's awesome.
chingada. Yeah.
So, I wanted to get actually into personal experiences with
Yeah.
this. We all live out. I mean, like I've lived out in the boonies. Steve Church is that he's been out to my farm that I lived on a million times. We used to hang out there all the time. We used to go shoot guns out there all the time. We used to, we were young at the time, so it was actually BB guns and stuff like that. But we drank a lot out there, and there was a lot of weird shit that happened out there. And because he can actually vouch for me on this one. I dare say the farm I lived on was very much a ley line. It was very much a calling place for a lot of weird stuff to happen. So I actually want to ask you, because Odd Mother, you live in the woods and stuff like that, or you live in the area and of the cemetery in the middle of the, of the bayou or wherever you're at.
No, nowhere. I live in a cemetery in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Steve, yep.
Yep.
Down one.
I thought that was Daisy Burns until you blew it up. Yep. Yep. Oh, Steve was one actually. I think I told you about guys real fast. We were. He got me. So he got a PlayStation PS1 first. Then I got one. He let me borrow Resident Evil, and then it was summertime when because I wouldn't give it back to him. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, dead smell came into my room while I'm playing the game. I was like, oh, this is freaking me out. But yeah, Steve was out there. So
Oh, wow.
like going out there. Oh, Erin was out there too. She went out to my farm too. So any stories? I kind of rambled on for a second there, but any stories of contact with the
Extraterrestrials.
Eddie Torres is out there at the extraterrestrial. Yeah.
The only thing that I've ever experienced, I've never experienced anything. My dad did. He actually got because he's kind of an amateur photographer, and he took a picture during the daylight. It wasn't at night, of something that flew over his house, and he blew it up on his software that he had, and it was very odd. It was like a cigar shape, because you've heard of the cigar shaped UFOs. But this had a ball on the end of it. So it was like a cigar shape with a ball on the end of it. And it was just flying through the air, like way up there where the planes normally are. But it had no contrails, no nothing.
It was Cheech and Chong, man.
Yeah, right. One of the things I actually heard the theory on that stuff, it wasn't supposed to be the cigar-shaped things. Someone actually caught a picture of one. And it actually showed
It's a flying blunt.
It was a flying blunt. Right. They're actually saying it could actually be possibly, I know this is going to go into the realm of fantasy and stuff like that, dragons and stuff like that actually coming, like I said, like with folding down reality and actually coming in from a different plane and stuff like that.
We've been playing a bunch of Skyrim.
I love Skyrim. So, Mikey, do you have any?
That was so nasty. Okay, I gotta pull this up.
Well, actually, look, I live in southern Mississippi. People claim they've seen an alien all the time when it was actually just their method of Met out neighbor Clyde the field wielding a leaf blower. So
I saw an alien, man. I swear to God, I was like, Emilio.
Emilio. Mikey, do you have any experiences with anything out there in good old Texas and our state?
I really didn't see it personally, but I have a cousin. He lives right next door to me here, and he was telling me that one time he was in the backyard with his friends and everything like that because they like to do bonfires in the back. And he said that he had seen this like weird, like disc-shaped thing flying, but he said that it had no sound or anything. And he just said that he could see the lights, like I guess
And
circling around and stuff.
The frisbee.
And then the face of the frisbee.
There was a lot of frisbee.
That's usually a lot of the descriptions I've heard before, with those disc-shaped things. Eat shrooms and walk through the Tabasco fields in Kentucky.
It's fucking righteous.
No, he said tobacco fields.
Tabasco, fields of Tabasco. All the
It's all fucking Tabasco sauce.
Do you have the Chipotle one?
I would love Tabasco. I love the green Tabasco. Favorite of
The
all time.
Chipotle one's my favorite.
I don't like the Chipotle one.
Oh
just
God,
like
I
green
love
Tabasco.
it.
I have to have green Tabasco on my. I am like I'm not a eater.
No,
I'm not a big eater at all. I will eat most things.
the Tabasco sauce I love is the scorpion pepper one.
Oh, have you had the bomb sauce? The bomb, like
The bomb.
How did we get off track from aliens?
we'll get back on it, but we're talking about food right now. Food is important.
No. Here you go.
Since I moved to Arizona, I've been looking for weird things in the skies like the Phoenix Lights. Well,
I have a story.
Aaron, you need to actually look at your feet because there's freaking snakes everywhere there and scorpions. I'm kidding.
No, okay, so I went to a camp. It was like I wouldn't even call it like a summer camp thing. It was like a camping trip that was organized by the church my dad used to go to. And so we went out to, what was it called? Coppermouth?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Coppermouth.
Yeah.
And I am totally stoned now. You said the higher they get, the more time slows down, right?
Oh, you high. I don't know, you high.
Yeah.
When I'm coming off of it, man, I swear to God, my edibles when I take them, I'm like, the next day at work, I'm like, not that I was at work on high, but
Tabasco fields forever.
so
Tabasco fields forever.
we'll get to the comments in a second. Steve, we'll get to yours in a second and stuff like that. Steve's too. Everyone's high.
I took Nancy to one, but I was on a roller coaster with my recliner.
Oh God, I love this story. Steve's all me too. He's high.
You talk about being high, man. One time, I had to go to the hospital and get a surgery, and they put me on morphine. Man, that shit's one hell of a drug. Like seriously, they were cutting into me, and I was sitting there laughing at the doctor. I was watching it, I'm laughing. The doctor's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I'm thinking of something funny, I think." But I'm just sitting there cracking up as he's cutting into me. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh my God! I stay away from. No.
My dad watched watched his own surgery of getting cactus needles stuck in his leg, and they went down to the bone.
Ow!
So they had to cut his leg open. He only wanted general anesthetic.
Well, when I had my wisdom teeth pulled out, I only had general anesthetic. I was completely away for it.
Yeah, but they cut my dad's leg open, and he was watching the muscle and moving his foot.
They trimmed my jawbone while I was awake.
Okay.
Right there. He's right there. They trimmed it.
So
I could smell barbecue. It was good barbecue too. Like no fucking joke. Like,
Sweet baby rays.
I was like, dear God, no wonder why long pork is so freaking like coveted. I was like, I smell delicious.
So we were out camping and we're sitting around a fire on a bunch of rocks and whatever. And there's some like hills kind of behind us where we were.
The hills are alive.
Okay. We look up and there's these like this flash of lights, right? And then it's 3 lights bouncing. Like they're like doing this bouncing thing between the 3 of them. And I know it was like alien rape time. No, but these, and they were, like I said, they were white balls, but they also had some color kind of to them.
Mm-hmm.
And, they bounced up and down, and then they just disappeared. They just flew back off again. And everyone there was like, "You all saw that, right?" Yeah, we saw that. And like the people that were playing the guitar around the campfire, they stopped everything. It was just all of us looking at it like, are they trying to signal us? Is this like Futurama where they're playing the big Simon in the Sky?
Yeah.
They should have started playing Rock Lobster.
Well, you know, it's good though that you had people there though that saw it too, because you know, I would also see something like that, and then everybody be like, "Oh yeah, sure, you really, huh." But having people there, that's cool.
It was interesting, definitely.
So Steve puts up, I was followed by a light for about 50 miles while driving through New Mexico in the middle of the night a couple of years ago. At first, I thought it was a reflection on the window, but it wasn't. So
okay, my dad and I have seen something like that, and it was in the same area where I went camping. Like so that place is actually in Nevada. For the record, that's why I was saying it. That place was actually, so it's in Nevada, and where's,
Jesus Christ, Aaron!
Oh, this guy played chicken with a trailer.
Because Aaron is still alive.
She won. What happened to the damn train? Shit.
Right? You went Super Saiyan on the train. The Kamehameha.
Unrelated random comment. Dad and I smoked.
Oh.
Dad and I smoked. We were watching TV and a commercial came on for Ford trucks. They say Super Duty. My dad Super Duty. And simultaneously did the Peter Griffin.
Super Duty.
Did it say, I love you, Leela? Yeah, it said, I love you, Leela.
Bring up Steve. Is the train okay? Right? Jesus Christ, man. So,
I forgot to show you guys today. It's the Millennium Falcon.
What is that?
The Millennium Falcon.
Oh, it is. That's cool. Because at first I thought it was like a tooth, and I was like, "Why do you have a tooth?"
So I do have like a fire in the sky story. Like we were talking about the other night, like we were like what we're gonna do with like aliens and like that. And I do have a fire in the sky story, like with the farm that I grew up on. Back in the day,
did you smoke on the water?
Smoke on the water, a fire.
The fire in the sky.
No, it's a reference to obviously it's a reference to the movie. Back in the day, my buddy Steve and me, we were completely sober for a long time. We didn't do anything. We were actually very straight edge, to the point to where we, for a little bit there, when we were in junior high and our freshman year, we would almost shun friends. That's how straight edge we were. Then halfway through our freshman year, beer was introduced to us, and here we go. So we would see everything from lights in the skies, just weird things, and they were not satellites because the farm I grew up on, you could actually, it was clear enough that if you took a telescope out, you could see satellites going overhead. And
Right.
one night, it must have been when I was elementary school. A friend pulled me off the track last. Oh, okay. So the train won. Someone threw the towel in. What you're saying there? I'm sorry. I was making a joke. It must have been when I was like in 5th grade. I never liked to sleep in my own room. I hated it. The only time I would sleep in my room, even like in 6th grade and 7th grade and whatever, is when my buddy Steve came over. We would hang out there and play video games and stuff like that. We would play video games and stuff like that in there and do whatever. And we played D&D a lot. We played Vampire the Masquerade. But aside from that, we would always sleep in the living room or we'd sleep in wherever, you know. I always hated. At the time, I didn't like sleeping in my room, and I had sleep paralysis real bad. To this day, I have major sleep paralysis. If I sleep on my back. Well, the train wasn't going to veer. Right? Genre! Our new co-host on Ruthlessly Red. So I would have wicked sleep paralysis, and I have it when I sleep on my back only. I could actually tonight if I want to. I can induce it tonight if I want to, and I can have it. I learned even from a young age because I would have it all the time how to wake myself up from it. And your body, you know, sleep paralysis is your body's asleep, your mind's awake.
Right.
And you only see a sliver of light. And while I would sleep, I would learn how to pull myself out of it. If I was on my back, I would crawl my hand up, and this would take a minute. Like it would take a little bit. Like I would crawl my hand up slowly like this. I mean, you know, you can see it looks weird, but if this is what I would do, and it would like take a little bit, and I would have to slow my breathing because I start having a panic attack while I'm doing it. And then once I get to my chin, I push myself awake, and that's how I snap myself out, and I'm able to roll over and go back to sleep. This night, I wasn't able to do it. Oh yeah, Steve and Shauna, we all know each other from back in high school. Shauna said hi. Shauna, Steve.
She could see it when I pulled it up there.
This night, I started having it while I was sleeping on the couch. I started having it while I was sleeping on the couch, and I kept doing that, or at least I thought I was, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't snap myself out of it. I could not do it. All of a sudden, this was, mind you, this was a long farmhouse, whereas it was. I can send you pictures of it later. I should have had them up here, but I didn't have it ready. It was the not the landlord, but what is the ranch, the ranch supervisor's house before we got there. So it was long. It was actually kind of big, and there was windows everywhere. All of a sudden, there was like orange, yellowish lights just flashing everywhere. And
that would scare the shit out of me.
My body was completely asleep, and I didn't know what to do. I was a kid. I seriously saw shadows running through the house, running everywhere. From the sliver of my eyes being slightly open, I saw everything. I still remember it vividly to this day. I didn't know what to do and I kept trying my hardest to do this and get myself to wake up, but I couldn't get my hand up because I taught myself how to get myself out of it. And I couldn't get my hand past this point. It wouldn't happen. It would not happen. And then all of a sudden, I just kept thinking of my father. I kept thinking of my mom. And I kept thinking, the one thing I really kept focusing on, I was like, I know if I scream, I know if I do this, if I can make it come out, my dad will come out here and he will stop. And the minute I was able to even go like that, all stopped and went away. And when it all stopped and went away, I woke up, came up like this, and I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs, what I thought was at the top of my lungs, but all I was doing was going like that, and then I finally came away. I ran to the kitchen because the kitchen was the one part of the house where I could actually see the entire farm almost.
Right.
There was nothing. It was gone.
So is this alien or ghost? That's the question.
It was like
I was an alien. That's what it seems like.
Oh yeah, it was.
So you think? Do you think that you actually like foiled their plans, or what do you think happened?
Well, they're on a farm. They wanted to do crop circles, and you messed up their crop circles.
I know, right? I think for the fact that I actually, in a way,
wanted to do this.
Right. You wanted to make.
Oops, try again.
I was able to actually, because like I said, I'm able to snap myself out of sleep paralysis because I don't like it. I hate it. And I know I'm awake, and I start focusing. Really what it is, it's I focus on my hand. I focus on this, and I can actually. Yeah, it was. And I'm able to like just like that, just snap myself out. And once I'm snapped out of it, I'm awake and walking around and whatever.
Right.
I have my ex. I don't want to talk about her too much, but one of the times I was in sleep paralysis in front of her one time, and she said it was one of the freakiest things she ever saw.
Really?
One of the absolute things, because if I fall asleep on my back, it happens. And I was my dad had a court case with his farm that he was on at the time, and he had to go away. And I came in. I was off that day and I ended up falling asleep on the couch, and I fell asleep on my back. My ex came walking through and saw me doing this, and like saw it was almost like she said it was almost like I was like dead. You know, like your body.
Oh wow.
When you're asleep, you're moving a little bit, but when you're in sleep paralysis, it's like you're out of your body. It's insane.
Oh my God.
So I have a funny. The reason I started laughing. So when I was a kid, my dad and I don't remember if we were driving to Arizona or if we were driving to my grandpa's house. I use the term loosely. I don't really know.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
No worries. So we were driving, and I was looking out the side of the window, and there was hills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically what Steve was saying, where like you're looking out the window and you think that it's glare at first, and the more you focus on it, it's like zooming across the top of the hills. And I just hit my dad up. I said, "Hey, do you remember when we were driving along and saw that light blazing across the hills next to us?" And he was like, "Vaguely, but it could have been a migraine."
Yeah.
A shared migraine.
And I was like, "No, I think it was either driving to Arizona or Big Terry's." And he goes, "Probably." But he remembers it.
You play D&D, you're such a dork. I would never play that. Also, that was all sarcasm. Yeah, I know, Tom.
He's probably the dungeon master.
That's the one thing that sucks about StreamYard or streaming at all is the delay. I know, right? And Steve, the farm was fucking freaky, dude. Yes. There was a lot of weird stuff out there. Oh my God, there's people practicing Santeria out there too, finding dead animals in jars.
George?
No, seriously.
Jar
Jar Binks.
It's another episode of So, yeah.
Looks like a spaceship in the clouds. Cool.
Cool.
It's because we're talking about it.
Talking about that, I did have one thing, but I don't think it was alien or just a weird natural phenomenon. When I was 15, okay, I was a little wild. I was never a bad kid, but I was a little wild in my early teens, and I was sent to boot camp basically, and it was an outdoor experience where you worked a lot. But anyway, so you had to get up really early, okay, and we were heading towards the main lodge. It was probably about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was during the winter time because it was cold outside. And we had to be at the lodge by, I think, 6:30 or 7 o'clock to eat breakfast. And so we're all walking down this trail. And on one side of the trail was woods. On the other side, they had clear cut it because they had just built a new like laundry facility and shower facility for everybody who was there. When everybody started hearing this sound, you know, like just a weird, like flames. And I noticed that the sky started to get brighter and brighter. And I was like, you know, all of us, and there was probably a good 20 of us were like, what the hell is going on? And I shit you not, it was about, I'm sure it was huge because it looked, you know, when the moon is full, you know how big it looks in the sky? Yeah. Well, take something like that. It was about that size of what it looks like visually. Okay. And it was a round asteroid that was going right across the top of the trees. You could see the flames coming off the back of it.
Bad.
And it was like, and it went over the hill because you couldn't judge distance or anything. It went over the hill. You never heard a boom, but you saw the sky go woo, 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 like that. Okay.
Wow.
So it had to have been huge because it looked like the size of a full moon going through the sky. I don't know how far away it was.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was nothing in the newspaper, nothing on the news, nothing about it whatsoever.
You know what? You just brought up a memory that I had one time. Well, I didn't experience it. My mother did.
Mm-hmm.
She was outside. She was outside talking with some of her friends. This was about 12 o'clock midnight because my mom had these weird friends that she would go outside the apartment and talk with them like at random hours.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time she said that this big ball of light just flies across the sky, and it was about a few seconds of daylight. Like literally, it looked like.
That's how this was.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I was like, wow.
Steve, this happened a lot out there. Remember when we stumbled upon that dead sheep in the pit? Yeah. So the farm I grew up on too, there was also a big oil pumping units. They look like giant grasshoppers out of nowhere. Because our county is huge. Like our industry is oil and farm here, and our county has like 1 million people in it. Like it's all supported by oil and farm,
right?
Or oil and ag. I'm sorry. And what they would do out there is there was these sand pits that they would dig randomly because they were, I guess, excavating or like looking for whatever they're doing. Well, us being kids, we just go play in them. You shouldn't have played them because like that's where you get landfills and all of a sudden you die. But we did it. You know, Steve and me were out there wandering. We walked from my house. We walked about 2 miles, 3 miles because the farm was huge. The farm is huge. It's huge. It goes. It almost the I-5 that runs the entire gambit from Mexico all the way up into Canada. Well, we lived about I would say about 15 miles away from the I-5, like going out. We could go north. We were about 3 or 4 miles away from my house, heading toward the I-5, and all of a sudden we came across this pit. It was an alfalfa field, and it was just there. And the crazy thing about it was there was no grazing at the time. But then all of a sudden there was this freshly dead sheep in the middle of the pit. And it wasn't it wasn't like it was murdered. It wasn't like, and at the time we had an idea of the occult because we started getting into, not going to say that D&D is evil because it's not, but at the same time, when you start getting into D&D, when you start getting into stuff like that, you start expanding your mind and you start reading things, So on a random note, one of the first things I ever bought Steve for his birthday in junior high was the Satanic Bible because I was like, you know what? Let's start getting into that stuff. So I bought him the Satanic Bible so we can start, because we were kids and we were just exploring everything.
Right.
We know what sacrifices and all that stuff look like, what they should look like, because we read a lot about it. At the time there wasn't that much with the internet, so we actually went out and found the books and things. But this was not sacrifices. It was very much almost like cattle mutilation, stuff like that. It was very much.
Oh, that would be a cool. We should talk about that.
Cattle mutilation in North Georgia. It's not unheard of in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's
Walking
a
up upon
tricky
us,
subject.
it was
the cattle mutilation stuff, where it's like the
Mhm.
chupacabra, and it, you know,
what it was the weird thing
the
too. Is
alien
when you walk up
theories.
upon it, like there was not really a smell of death, but you look at it, you're like, oh, what the fuck happened to this thing? You know, we looked at it for a minute, and then all of a sudden, because we were kids, and we were like, we should get back to the house, and like, it was just nonstop, just walking. When we got back, we finally talked about it, and I was like, ooh, this is bad.
You know, there probably wasn't much blood around it either, was there?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. It was very. It was almost like a pit that was just carved out, and in the center of it was the sheep. It was right there.
So bizarre.
Yeah.
I would have
So,
poked at it with a stick.
yeah, right.
Hey, you alive there?
You guys
That's the bribe. You poke at
Ah.
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Bing bong, no bing bong.
That gets you.
No bing bong.
Don't poke eggs with a stick. Those alien eggs with a stick either.
Oh yeah, Steve made it was a shallow pit. They could have walked out.
But
That was true too.
they just
Weird.
want to hug you.
It was just dead there. It was the most weird,
He said,
random
"Don't
thing.
poke." She said, "Don't poke alien eggs with a stick." I said, "They just want to hug you."
Yeah. Face huggers.
Face hug you.
Okay, so
Oh man.
I gotta go feed dogs.
We have almost been on 2 hours, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about that.
it was a really fun show.
It was a lot of fun. I love how we go down rabbit holes and start talking about just the weirdest things, but it's always so much fun.
Well, I think that's actually like it's kind of a good thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We went from aliens to Tabasco sauce and to food, and then like back to aliens, and then back to gods, and oh, you know, the one thing we didn't cover was tulpas. I think
No, oh my goodness.
I actually thought about tulpas for a second. Actually,
tulpas does go along with aliens more than anything else.
well, okay. So one of the things
Here we
that
go. 3 more hours,
Oh,
guys.
Reading popcorn, the pillow, and your blanket.
well, one of the things that I read in the comments, I think Erin had said it.
Uh-huh.
She was saying,
Enochian or
no. Oh, you totally are ruining my flow here.
sorry.
Dang it. Oh, if they didn't exist, why? Who created the idea of them?
Well, I think that comes.
And well,
Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say tulpas.
Well, I think that comes back to the idea of like, or what I was saying, whereas they fold their reality down on us. So,
Mhm.
and it can actually go back if you like think about like, if let's just say what I said earlier, let's just say we are living in a black hole. You know, we're right here in the middle, and we're looking out in space, and there's nothing there because we are in the black hole. It could be. It could be. I mean, it could be that people or things might be reaching in to save us, to get us out. So it could be a myriad of things. I'm just brainstorming here.
Yeah.
It could be they're looking in to save us.
Well,
Hey, these.
There's theories about Bigfoot. I mean, I'm not really into Bigfoot too much, but there are theories about Bigfoot that he is somewhat of a shepherd of the earth and maybe universes in general, and normally shows up like when some sort of natural disaster has already happened, or maybe not necessarily like the Mothman or anything, but there just seems to be some connection there that he may be like some sort of dimensional travel that kind of oversees nature or what have you.
But I mean, like the idea.
Wait, here you go. Sorry.
Back when west of Wyoming was just empty field. So to the south or west, southwest of us, it was always like where we're at right now was always just fields. And
I remember thinking then that it was odd that the sheep had been gutted and their inner contents were removed.
Yep. Because
That's weird.
If a sheep died, if they died right there.
Sorry.
If a sheep, you like messed up my train of thought so bad.
You did it to me earlier. I love Bigfoot. His name is Daryl.
Tom is all out of order.
But I think Bigfoot just comes around just to come and get his jack links.
There you go.
If a sheep died in the field during grazing and stuff like that, what they do is they leave it for the natural predators. They don't gut it. They just, if it drops dead right there, it's dead. It's for the natural predators. They come and get it, and that's the end of it. They don't poison it or anything like that. They just leave it. Actually, some assholes do, but those are few and far between.
Right.
What we would see out there, even Sean brought it up, it was, like I said, it was gutted or it was cut or something like that. It was just things that happened.
Just weird stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, the time with the sheep and Steve and me and all that stuff, that actually does not sound right. Not one bit. Never mind. So that was our show today, guys. that time we came across the sheep, it literally wasn't too big of a hole. It wasn't too big, what deep. It was just there. It was just there.
Hole.
It was there, and it was slightly mutilated, and all this other stuff. And we're like, "What the fuck?"
See, and that's. I mean, I know at least used to here, like there were areas like if you had a big farm and you had like cows and different animals like that, if they got some sort of contagious disease, there was usually some sort of area where the farmer would take those particular animals to basically pit bury them to where the contamination didn't get out of control and contaminate other animals. But you didn't just leave them laying there.
You promised not to tell. We pinky swore, right, Steve? We went back. We pulled out our D&D Bible. You're not going to talk about this, right, bro? No, I'm not going to talk about it. I swear to God, I'm never going to have a podcast. I'm never going to ever get on this thing called Facebook. What's Facebook?
What happens on the farm stays on the farm, Brian.
What happens on the farm stays on the farm. You swore! You came across a sheep, you sick man. Yeah, I did. We did.
Oh, God.
Oops.
What I was going to say was that the idea of aliens could also be tulpas. Aliens.
Yeah, well,
That has to go really far back, but I think that's totally possible. Or maybe they've just always been here.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true too.
well, that's what I was getting at with the whole folding down reality, that they're always here. They just don't know how to. If they present themselves as what they are, it just would blow our minds. We wouldn't understand what they are, and it would just.
You know what would be funny?
I'm telling you, if
funny?
they start the chat, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
Right?
You know what would be funny? If these aliens would actually say moo 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 moo. Fucking South Park. Fucking South Park aliens.
Orange County Choppers, where it's the dad and the son, where they superimpose Mars attacks over them, and they're all like, he's all,
The best alien ever. Okay. Oh gosh.
So, two things real fast. So, you came across. Exactly. Shepherds let the nature take course. This is
the you.
The you been wasted because not opportunities to see it. Yeah, right. Steve, maybe they are another native species that has decided we are too dangerous to associate with. That is actually a good.
That's possible.
That could be possible.
Humans
blow shit up.
Yeah, we do like to blow shit up, and we do like to make gigantic monster trucks with V8s and stuff like that.
You know, I like the Gravedigger. Okay.
I love the Gravedigger. I really like to.
I'm really upset that we didn't stay and watch the monster truck rally when we were at the Kern Fair that one day.
Yeah, that just shows that we're rednecks. I was like, oh, Gravedigger, and like she's all, we gotta go. I was like, what about Gravedigger?
I was trying to watch Gravedigger. Are you kidding me?
The best part was, this is this is how our county fair is. So they have nice, peaceful calves, and they're in the cow mothers and stuff like that at our farm or the county fair, and then
The
all of a
triple
sudden,
H, or the 4-H stuff, and the
right there, and then all of a sudden, right next to it is monster trucks. We're all,
But you see how fairs were. Now they're all about, who has the best jam, and they'll have like Ferris wheels and things like that. But I remember when I was growing up, you had the scary houses, you had like the burning sphere of death that had the two motorcycles that would go round and round. You had
Yes.
the belly dance that all the dads would like sneak away to.
COVID happening this year. Our fair is like that. That's why I actually like to go to it. And our
I
fair
love
has
the demolition
one of
derby.
the best barbecue spots
Mhm.
ever. And mind you, I'm kind of a person who does barbecue myself because I do briskets and all this other stuff. I put the pinkies up when I do it because I'm special. I make my own rubs. They have dinosaur ribs, like the brisket. This place in my fair has brisket ribs right near where the monster trucks are and where the motorcycles that fly around in the cage are. So you can walk around with your dinosaur brisket rib, eating it with your beers in your hand.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
then
you
they
gotta
have-
also remember it's all while pushing a baby stroller.
No, we don't have that.
I miss the carnival gas and stuff.
Pushing the
Oh God, I'm like, just get the vaccine out so I can go to the fair next year. Jesus Christ,
Not
just
a lot of
do
funnel cake.
it. I don't care if it creates zombies.
I can
I
make
just want to go to the fair.
I want to go to one of those like dark circus or dark side shows that's got kind of like
The Dark Carnival.
They
Yeah.
have one. They have one. Well, they have an actual freak show in Venice Beach, but they do the Dark Harbor thing at the Queen Mary, and it's kind of like carnival sideshow themed. One year they had like the biggest piece they had there and the most famous piece they had. They had Michael Jackson's those swings that spin. They brought those for people to ride on from Neverland.
You look
See,
great.
that's amazing.
Talk about creepy shit.
Here's the thing with California.
I had to write it. I had to write it.
I absolutely love my state, and I absolutely hate my state because I am so close to everything.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm like, I love my state.
So much history there, and so much like just really cool things to see.
So gorgeous. And my state, freaking, I'll say it right now, my state politicians, they know they have me by the balls. They know I'm not going anywhere. They know I'm staying. And they're like, we're just going to wrench out all the money from you. I just got political.
This is like the Dennis Leary asshole song. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a 19 song.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole.
John Wayne, and he's frozen.
All right.
Do you know how pissed off the Duke is going to be?
Let's get to a couple comments real fast, and then we'll get out of here because we got to go feed the dog.
Oh, that's what it was. John Wayne's not dead. He's frozen. And when we find a cure for cancer, we're going to thaw him out. And you know how pissed off he's going to be? You ever take a cold shower, multiply that by 15 million? That's just how angry the Duke is going to be.
Right. So Chandra says, speaking of Bigfoot, I have a whole theory of the species I tend to closely follow Native American beliefs regarding Sasquatch. That is another thing, too. I can tell you from experience when the tire blew off one of the monster trucks 2 years ago and hit the wall, the livestock were not happy.
Oh, shit. We were there 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we were there probably on a separate night, but that's how close it was to the livestock.
Yeah. We were there. So that's when we went.
They literally put the livestock, the
It was kind of a
right next
it
to
was
it.
really definitely a weird placing for the 4-H stuff and the monster truck rally.
Luckily,
I said 4-H needs to be over by the jams and the chow chow.
Yeah, exactly. This one, no. This is Kern County. That's just how they do things.
Oh, okay.
Life's gonna suck when you grow up. When you grow
By
up,
the way,
and then
so
you're gonna die.
the first time like I started getting into this area was with Steve Church. He's like, "Have you heard him?" I was like, "What's Steve Church? Tell me." Or what's these lyrics? Tell me, Steve Church. And he's all this, and then right after that, I started having his manly voice. I started cussing a lot, and I started drinking. And I never stopped.
I freaking love Dennis Leary. He is awesome. You know, the first time I ever heard that song was as an intro to the Tom Likas morning show on talk radio.
Uh-huh.
His intro was when they're spelling out asshole. It's all ASSHOLE, everybody. That was Tom Likas's intro.
That's amazing.
Well, my mom used to drive me so Anaheim and Anaheim Hills are actually pretty far apart in Orange County.
That's before everybody was offended by everything.
Yeah, definitely. So my mom would drive me all the way across town in the morning we had to go through like several other cities. And it was a good hour-ish to my school from my mom's house. Mm-hmm. And we would listen to talk radio on the way to school, and it would sound like this. On the way to a Christian school, listening to ASSHOLE.
You can feel the difference. Jesus Christ, yeah. Lynn Jade! Hi, go Kings. She's wearing an Anaheim.
Yeah, well, I'm conflicted because I'm from Anaheim. What? So, like, I've been born and bred to like the Ducks, but I always go for the Kings.
Look.
But Ducks, I mean, come on. The Anaheim Ducks at the pond.
Look, Steve and me, it was always Mario Lemieux and the Penguins, and it was Gretzky and the Kings. We're talking hockey now, so all right, we're getting way off subject here now. We are not talking about aliens anymore.
Gretzky and Robitaille, thank you.
Robitaille was fucking amazing. So anyway.
By the way, my grandpa's Canadian. This is just bred into me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, traitor.
All right.
We are getting out of here.
Have a wonderful night, guys.
Real fast, what do we got coming up?
Oh my goodness, what do you have coming up? Friday.
I think Sid's doing his he's doing Into the Fire around what? 5 his time or he's doing Into the Fire tomorrow.
He's doing Into the Fire. What you're gaming?
I am gaming tomorrow night. We are doing Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
And you know, it's Friday the 13th tomorrow, too.
Friday the 13th tomorrow night. Here's the thing. I tried. Okay. From my PC, I can only.
Right?
As soon as I stopped paying attention to hockey, the Kings won. And then this year we go to see him, Steve, and then COVID happened. COVID literally happened.
Had to stop paying attention to them so they continue to win.
Yeah. COVID happened because they didn't want the Kings to win because that's how it happened. That was the only reason why COVID happened. We went to go see the Kings.
COVID happened because they didn't want us to go see the Kings versus Ducks.
Hey, when the Kings were actually having games by themselves and no one watching, they actually won a lot of games in a row. And I was like, Jesus Christ, COVID. But back onto track here. Tomorrow, I was trying to get Resident Evil 4 to work on all 4 or 3 pages. I couldn't get it to do that, so I will be doing this straight from Psychomantium tomorrow night. Psychomantium 13.
Well, we can always share it on the other pages.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I think we're cooking.
We are cooking Saturday.
And Sunday,
Roots Bleed Red.
Well, with Roots Bleed Red, what we're doing is fucking fun. We already announced it last week. We are going to be talking about last meals.
Cool.
For executions, like the how everyone requests these outlandish things, and they abide most of the time. And then also choosing what we would have for our last meal. Like, would we make them run all over the place
Oh, hell yeah.
separately? What would we do?
Real quick, Steve, I will be playing it on my PC.
The GameCube.
No, the GameCube version is actually the best version aside from PC. It was actually the cleanest version. It was very, very good because they put it on the PS2 and it like the sound messed up a lot on there and it wasn't actually smooth, which is kind of crazy because like the GameCube was not as powerful as the PS2, but the GameCube version played the best. Resident Evil 4 is the version where they changed things to over-the-shoulder view, which actually changed game dynamics in general in the future. Stuff like that. They started doing stuff like that. But yeah, tomorrow night. Actually, I was going to send you a link tomorrow. I'll see the cut so you can watch me play and we can comment and talk back and forth. I'll be playing tomorrow night for about 2 hours, so I'll get far into it. Odd Mother, do you have anything coming up or?
This Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Chipotle.
Chipotle just because it would kill me.
First before the execution.
Right. So Odd Mother's on Wednesday. Mike, do you have any Doomsday? Do you have anything coming up, or do you want to?
I'm still debating on what I'm gonna do because I really don't have material right now. I'm gonna be looking some stuff up during the weekend.
So you're normally like, okay, cool. So
all right.
That's it.
Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, guys. We're out of here, and here's the outro. And
if I can figure out what to do.
Happy Friday the 13th tomorrow, kitties.
I have a bow. I have a necklace. I have a shirt. But I don't have a tattoo, and that's sad.
I know. Everything's closing back down in California.
That's how I got my little poppet.
Aww.
It was Friday the 13th.
All right,
actually,
guys.
That's also my Prince tattoo. It was Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're out of here.
And
thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Adios.
I'm just gonna choose one.
I don't know, set the world I don't know,